Like I just said, I'm Kaitlin Porter, and I will be presenting on the D11 school closings here in the Springs. And how many of you guys know about the D11 school closings? All right, just a couple. Well, for those of you who don't know, we're going to go through some quick things like why the schools had to close down, what exactly happened, how the actual closing process works, and what's going on after the fact of the closings happening as a consequence. The first thing we're going to go over is why it had to happen, or why the district thought it had to happen. The schools at the time were way underutilized, meaning they didn't use what they had. They didn't have enough students, and they had empty rooms throughout the day, not being used for multiple hours at a time. And there wasn't anything special about the school keeping it open. For example, Palmer here in the Springs, downtown, the high school, has the IB program, which is basically why it's being kept open. It's the oldest school in Colorado Springs that's still open, and the district absolutely refuses to shut it down because they have the IB program. Other reasons are the district made budget cuts, and there weren't enough students in the schools, so based on CSAP testing or other attendance testing, they didn't make a certain point to get a certain amount of funding. And they're also paying for the maintenance of the unused rooms, so the janitors are spending time in and out of those unused rooms. How the process works is the meetings are held. I actually went to pretty much every single meeting last year because my high school was under fire and being threatened to be shut down. So I went to every single meeting being held, and what they go over is just reasons why they want the schools to be shut down and options if they do keep them open. After that, the schools then go make plans or pleas, basically just saying, here's our plan if our school is kept open, in order to use the school more, or to make more money, or to get our students at a higher academic level. An example was my high school, Wasson. Right now they're a performing arts school, and their plan was if they're kept open, they're going to make it into a performing arts and math and science magnet as well, to bring in more students from Galileo Middle School. And after that, the board then makes plans which often reflect what the school has set out for itself. So they'll basically come back saying, okay, if we shut you down, this is what we're going to do with your building, and if we keep you open, then we'll agree to fund this in order for you to make that happen. After that whole process goes through, which probably takes about a month full of meetings, the school board then votes on whether to keep the school open or to shut it down completely. Next and lastly, we're going to talk about what happened after the entire thing happened with D11. The middle schools and the elementary schools have been merged, a couple of them. So West K-8 school in the Springs is now an example. And one middle school was shut down, which is Irving. 8 elementary schools were closed, such as Ivy Wild, Pike, and Washington. And in the next 3 years or so, a high school is looking at being shut down, possibly Wasson or Mitchell. And according to the Gazette, D11 has now found an extra $3 million just in this year's budget because of the 9 schools being shut down last year. So they're now trying to figure out where they're going to place all of that $3 million. And the schools are being overutilized now. They have too many students, especially at West. I actually have a friend that works as a gym teacher at West, and they have one bathroom for the entire elementary section of the school. So K through 5th grade has to share one bathroom, and the middle schoolers get the rest. And so in the boys' bathroom, if they don't have stalls open, or the boys just can't get in there in time, they've been going in the sink, and that's obviously a problem for a public elementary school. As a recap, what we just went over, we talked about why schools have to be shut down, or why the district thinks they need to be shut down, how the actual process works with the meetings, the proposals, and the voting, and lastly, after everything, what the consequences of the closings were. And here are some sources that I used to get all of my information, as well as my personal and past experiences.